This tutorial will cover the basics of using PDspect on your Windows desktop, laptop, or tablet. To get started, we're going to start a brand new inspection. And to do this, we're going to open up the PDspect icon, which will bring up a screen with a couple different options. We can start a new inspection. We can open an existing inspection that we've already worked on, access the cloud drive, or we can come down here to create, edit inspection forms using Inspection Designer. To start a new inspection, we're going to come up to Start a New Inspection, and we're going to click on that. The next screen that pops up is the Choose Template screen. Here, we have a listing of the different templates that are available with the PDspect Property Management product out of the box. For this tutorial, we're going to use the basic residential inspection, so we're going to click on that. We're going to click on OK to continue. The next screen is where we pick what we're going to name our file. We're going to call this Test. We're going to click on Save, and we're ready to get started. So here we're looking at the main PDspect screen. On the left, we have a list of our different categories, or just different sections, and when you click on it, the inspection information within that category shows up over on the right. To get started, we're going to click on Lots and Grounds, and we're going to work on filling this out. Within the categories, we have a series of different lines, and within each line, we have three main items. The first is the rating. The second is what the actual inspection item is, and then finally, we have our notes. For driveway, let's click on our ratings. When we click on it, we'll see a listing of all the ratings that come, again, with the standard out-of-the-box product. These terms are completely customizable by you, so if you have different terms you prefer using, that's not a problem. And for more information on how to make those changes, simply watch the tutorial on editing ratings. For this example, we're going to say the driveway is acceptable, so we're going to click on Acceptable. Since the driveway is fine and it doesn't have any issues, there's nothing else we need to do for this line, so we're ready to move on to walks. For walks, we're going to say those are acceptable as well. Moving on to steps and stoops, we're going to say there's an issue here, so we're going to mark it as marginal. Since it is marginal, we want to talk about what the issue is, and to do that, we're going to add in a note. We have two options for adding in a note. The first one is we can click on the drop-down arrow. That's to the right of the note box here, and this is going to pull up a list of all the items in your drop-down list. So for here, we're just going to simply say that the issue is there's missing handrails. We can see our notes showed up here to the right, and we're ready to move on to porch. Again, with porch, we're going to say there's an issue, so we're going to mark it as marginal. And since it's marginal, we want to talk about what the issue is. And of course, we can do like we just did and select something from the drop-down list, or the second way to add in notes is to simply click on Notes. From here, we could select something from the list, or if we want to type something that's not part of the list, we can just come down here to the big box and then type it in. So we're going to type in, this is the issue with the porch. Once you're done documenting what the issue is, we can click on OK. We have our notes show up, and we're ready to move on to patio. Let's say the patio is fine, so we're going to mark it as acceptable and move on to deck. The deck has an issue, so we're going to mark it as marginal. We're going to enter a note. So we're going to say there's some moisture damage. In addition to adding in a note, we're going to also want to add in a picture. Now, the easiest way to add in a picture is to simply resize the PDspect window so it doesn't take up the full screen. And then we're going to open up the folder that contains all of our pictures and put those side by side. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now we have it set up with the program on the left and then our pictures on the right. And to add in a picture, all we need to do is find a picture we want to add, click on it, hold it, and then you drag it to the line you want to add it to, and you simply let go. So you just drop it on the line, and as you can see, we now have a picture added onto our deck line. Once the picture's been added in, we can actually click on it to add in some photo markups. We have two main options when choosing what markups to add in. We can add in decorations as well as text. Now decorations, these include arrows, ellipses, and zoom boxes, and you can access those over here on the right. So let's go ahead and add in a black arrow. To add in an arrow, you simply click, and then you drag. So like that, we just added in two black arrows pointing to the window. Now for this photo, let's say we also want to add in some text. So to do that, we just come over here to our text box, and then we type in whatever we want. So let's say there was another issue here. There's actually an uneven rise on steps. So let's go ahead and type this in. And as you can see, as we're typing, the text is showing up on the picture. And you have a couple of options as far as picking where you want the text to show up. Of course, the color for the text, as well as the text size. But at this point, we've added in our decorations, we've added in our text. We can simply click on OK, and we're ready to move on. Moving on to balcony, we're going to say that the balcony is not applicable. Now, when we mark an item as not applicable, it simply removes it from the report. Just like we can mark an individual line not applicable, we can also do this with an entire section. So let's go ahead and jump to basement. And let's say there's not a basement on this property. We can mark the entire section not applicable by simply clicking on it up top. And now, when you go to create the report, the basement section will not show up. So at this point, we've shown you how to enter in your ratings, put in notes, as well as add in pictures. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what the report looks like. So we're going to resize the screen, get it back to full screen, and we're going to come up here to print preview. The first page is a table of contents. We're going to go ahead and skip forward to the lots and grounds section. And as you can see here, the first couple lines of information we filled out are showing up. So we have what we have for our ratings, the inspection items, as well as some of the notes we typed in. The pictures also show up just right there on the line. And another thing the report's going to do, if we skip towards the end, you're going to see it creates a summary. Now it's going to create a summary of everything that was marked as an issue. And it's going to list the category, the items, the notes you typed in, as well as display the pictures. One of the key things to keep in mind as you take a look at the way this report looks is these are simply the out-of-the-box settings. There are a ton of options to really customize and change the way this report looks to match the format you're looking for. For more information on this, watch the tutorial called Report Presentation Options, and it's just going to walk you through option by option what you can change to really make this report your own. Let's go ahead and click Close, and we're now back at the main PDspect screen. This concludes the tutorial, Basics of Using PDspect on your Windows desktop, laptop, or tablet.